you doing, Hayden?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. So how's it going? How are you doing with COVID right now?
I'm doing good. I actually already had it like three
Oh,
months
did
ago.
you?
So yeah, I got
Wow.
that out the way. And yeah, but we're hanging in there as best we can. Shows are starting to pick back up, and we got our first full length album coming out this coming Friday. So it's exciting times.
Oh, yeah, awesome. I've been lucky enough to not catch COVID, so
That's great.
fingers crossed. But glad you bounced back from it. It's a it's a tough time going on for everybody.
Absolutely.
But so tell me a little about yourself. Born and raised, where you grew up?
I was born and raised in Katy, Texas, and I've lived there my whole life. Now I'm in College Station. I go to Texas A&M. I'll graduate in the spring. But prior to this whole music thing, I was a baseball player. I played 3 years of college, 2 at Angelina in Lufkin, and then 1 at Houston Baptist in Houston. And music got in the way and took hold, and here we are. So now I'm living up in College Station, going to A&M and singing country songs.
Awesome. My wife actually went to A&M. She's from San Antonio.
Very nice, very nice. You made the
Yeah,
right choice.
yeah. Right. I'm wearing my Tennessee hat, as you can see, and I believe we play you guys next weekend.
You do play us next
So,
weekend. I just saw the AP polls. We're at number 5. I haven't seen us ranked that high since Manziel was here.
yeah, so if you guys could take it easy on my Vols, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I'll see what we can do. I think it'll be a good fun game. We haven't played in Tennessee yet since we joined the SEC, so that should be fun.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And so is my wife, because she likes to rub it in every time y'all beat us. But
Nice, nice.
we'll see. But so originally you played baseball. Did you play baseball before music, or was music always a part of your life?
Baseball was always the thing. I played from the age 3 to age 21 of baseball. I picked up the guitar at 15, but in a sense, music was always a part of my life. Like, I don't remember this, but when I was a kid, like 4 to 8 years old, I would put on concerts for my family. Like, just strum the guitar without fretting, just blare and everything. And I would make set lists and all that stuff. So yeah, music was always a part of it, but I never took it seriously until I got to high school.
Okay, so baseball was pretty much your main goal.
It was. And I actually have a song out about that. It's called A Dream. And talks about that story from sports to music. And it's got a deeper overall meaning to it. Whereas most of us in life, like, we have a dream as a kid to be in the MLB or to be the president of the United States, which I don't think anybody wants to be right now. And, when you grow up, that dream obviously changes. Real life kicks you and you move on. So I wrote a song about my transition from sports to music and how the good Lord played a part in it. And it's been a really powerful thing seeing people's reactions to it.
All right. How hard of a transition was it to give up baseball and focus strictly on music when baseball was such a big part of your life, all your life?
It was tough, but it was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. And I think it was because I was so invested in my music career right near the end of my baseball career. It was like I felt like I was missing out on my full potential as a musician. And near the end there, I was very excited to be done. My knees and elbow were very excited for me to be done as well.
Right.
So it was not as hard as I thought. There's nights here and there where I'm like, man, I wish I could, get back out on the field and go take some BP. And I go and do it sometimes, and my body does not like it the next day. So, but to tell you the truth, it wasn't as hard as I thought. It wasn't.
All right. So what made you mostly what give up baseball and focus strictly on music? What was the turning point for
The
you?
story I tell is there was one day where I was like, all right, this is enough. I had a home game against Cincinnati at 2:00 in Houston, and at 6:00 we were opening for Wade Bowen at the Houston Rodeo Barbecue Cook-Off.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, I had to leave in like the 8th inning or something and haul butt over to NRG and play that show, and then drive back and play another game the next day. And I was like, this is is getting crazy. I need to
Right.
really think about this. And I was like, this will be a good segue into something else, but I'll become friends with Brad Paisley. And the friendship started my junior year of college when I was playing ball at HBU, and all these opportunities were coming up for me to go like physically see him and hang out with him. And I had to miss opening day to do that. And I had to miss a series in Nacogdoches to go do that at the Houston Rodeo. So it was like, I didn't like doing that to my teammates. I wanted to be all in on one or the other.
Okay. So how'd you become friends with Brad Paisley?
So Brad's my idol. He's the reason I got started in country music. He's the reason I not picked up the guitar, but the reason I think I'm as proficient at the guitar as I am now. And that's not being cocky. I really think I have a long way to go, but I loved the stuff he was doing. You know, I love that open string, fast chicken picking stuff. I loved it. And I studied everything he did. Every single thing, every song. His instrumental album was like, that's my favorite album to this day. I love that album. And throughout the years, throughout high school and into college, I was posting cover videos on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, playing his solos. And people started to take notice, and eventually he took notice, and he followed me on Instagram. And long story short, I got invited out to the San Antonio Rodeo to meet him, and then the Houston Rodeo to hang out at Soundcheck and check out the rig on stage. I went up to Cincinnati and hung out at a show and got to smoke cigars with him after the show on the Ohio River. We talked for an hour, just me and him. It was unbelievable. And then Cleveland, I got to go up there and hang out at Soundcheck, and he took off his 1968 pink Paisley Telecaster and handed it to me on the stage at Soundcheck and let me pick on it. And since then, I was in his No Eye and Beer music video. We did a Zoom call when COVID happened of a bunch of guitar players and him, and we were all on it picking together. So it's been an absolute blessing, man. He is my guitar hero, and he's also a friend, which is very rare.
Right. Yeah. Definitely in the country music scene, Brad Paisley's probably one of, if not the best guitar pickers that is in country music today.
Absolutely.
Just the way he plays the guitar is amazing, and it's been like that for many years. So like, what's that like having yeah, for sure. What's that like having like your country music idol as like a friend now?
Surreal. It's very surreal. I have to pinch myself daily. In fact, like when I had COVID back in June, I told him, and he called me, and we talked for like a half hour just about like the state of the music industry and his career and my career and stuff. So it's great. One thing that I've really taken from it is how kind he is and how respectful he is of everybody he's around. Like his entire team is like that, and he's like that to, you know, kids like me who are just fans. Like he treats everybody with respect, and that is more important to me than any song you could ever write. So I've definitely taken that away from being around him.
Right. That's good to hear that he's a good, kind, humble man. Because a lot of times, like you know, you get an idol or like your favorite country star or any musician or athlete, and you know, you get to meet them, and turns out they're like like an asshole basically. But
yeah, everybody says don't meet your heroes, but
right.
You know,
but I mean,
that's
cool that Brad Paisley is a nice stand-up guy. It's good to hear, because I've always liked Brad.
Well, good.
So,
He is. I can tell you. Great guy.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, you post videos on YouTube of guitar picking, like lessons.
I
Did I
used
see
to.
something like that?
That was. I used to. That was, man. I really need to update that bio. But I did that in high school. I think I'm 23 now. But when I was in high school, when I was first starting out, I would post guitar tutorials on YouTube. Yeah, and that was good. I do, like, throughout Corona, I've done Zoom guitar lessons with some people, and that's been really fun.
All right. How hard was it to learn the guitar for you?
For me, I was blessed, man. It came very easily. It came very easily to me, learning, like I just started learning chords, and that came easily. And then it was playing lead, you know. then after a couple of years, it was the fast stuff. You know, it did. And even still today, like, I'm still learning every day. I learn new stuff and try to keep my chops up as much as I can. But if there's one thing that in this world that has come naturally to me, it's playing the guitar.
Yeah, that's awesome. It
Singing,
sounds good.
singing is a different story. I've had to really work. I've had to really work hard, very hard, to get just to where I am today as a vocalist. And I'm nowhere near satisfied vocally, but I've definitely made some strides. I started singing when I was 19, I think, and I'd never sang before, ever. Like, even in the
Wow.
car, I just never would. And it was bad. I was singing wrong. I was, hurting my vocal cords. But I've had some good coaches, and I love learning. I'm a sponge in a sense. Like, I love learning everything I can about everything I do. So I've really, really focused hard on my vocals the past few years, and still not where I want to be, but guitar came easy, singing did not.
All right. Well, I've definitely checked out your music before our interview today and in previous days, but I I like your sound because you sound authentic country to me. Like, you
Thank
don't,
you very much.
like, there's a big difference between like 90s country and then country today.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a super big, and I'm from Tennessee. I love my country music. I'm not a big super fan of like a lot of the new country today, just because it sounds more poppy than it does country to me. But
Exactly.
listening to you though, you sound like authentic 90s country, and I love that.
Yeah, that's what I love, man. The Brooks and Dunn and Alan Jackson and Clay Walker
Hmm.
and that type of stuff. That's what I grew up on, and that's what I love, and that's what I want to sound like. Like, if I could pinpoint myself or pigeonhole myself as a specific sound, I don't like doing that, but I would say it's 90s country with Brad Paisley style guitar licks and a little bit of grit, a little bit of edge in some songs.
Right. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely more of the 90s country in your tone, and I absolutely love that, and that's probably what made me like your music more than some of the newer country that's out there today, just because it to me it doesn't sound country. Some of it doesn't.
Yeah, it's
So it's
it's not. It's not. I'll go on record right now. You can quote me on it. It's not.
right.
It's pop.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know it's all mainstream and you got to do what's in nowadays, but I like what you're doing with the more authentic, natural country tone, and to me personally, it's just makes for better music in my opinion.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you, and I appreciate that.
No problem. So since you grew up on that kind of music, is that what you kind of like focused your vocals on being? Did you shape your voice to be more authentic?
Absolutely. I don't know if I shaped it. I definitely early on figured out what I could sing and what I couldn't, which is a hard
Hmm.
lesson to learn. You go up on stage and try to sing Keith Urban or the Eagles, and and your voice cracks, and you're like, okay, I'm not doing that song next show.
Right.
So it took me a few years to figure out what my voice could do, but I try to model myself after guys like Ronnie Dunn, who I'll never sing like. He's the best singer in
Yeah.
country music, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
I
I
agree
really
with you.
try. We have a similar resonance quality. At least that's what I've heard from some of my vocal coaches, and I somewhat agree. Where we kind of have, that lipstick lit across the mirror this morning, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I try to model myself after what he does. Some of the Brad stuff, like, he employs a lot of falsetto instead of physically using your chest voice to go up higher. So I'm trying to think like one of his songs that does it. The World, when he's like, think you're one of millions, but you're one in a million to me. That thing. That was bad, but I can do it when I'm warmed up, I promise. I've tried to employ certain things like that. and I take from everybody. I love listening to like John Mayer and some old Stevie Ray. Get some grit in there as well. And Clay Walker's got a great range too. So yeah, I take my favorite things from a bunch of different artists and try to spin them into my own repertoire. So.
All right, perfect. Yeah, it's definitely my kind of country. So you definitely got a fan in me with your music there.
Awesome.
Yeah. So like, uh, since you just kind of started more recently with the country, you said you were what, 23?
I am
You
23.
started singing at like 19, you said?
19 and like taking my building a career. I started at about 2021.
All right, so yeah, still newer. Are you like a solo, or do you have a band that you travel with?
I have a band, yes. In fact, this Thursday we're playing in my hometown of Katy at the place called Moe's Place. Is where I got my start. And Haggard's played there, and Chris Stapleton, all these guys. And we're gonna have a 7-piece band this Thursday. Fiddle, steel guitar, piano, 2 guitars, bass, and drums. Usually I just have a 5-piece, no fiddle and no piano. But since this is a release party for the record, I got my producer to play piano on it, and my buddy who plays fiddle up here in College Station. He's gonna come sit in with us as well. So usually a 5-piece band, but we're going all out for this release party.
Awesome, man. I'm sure that would be a cool thing to do, especially in your hometown with all the locals and like people growing up coming and supporting you. That must be a big thing for you and your band.
It is. It's fun to play in the hometown. It always is. But we're excited to get to venture out to some different places. We're going to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the first time, December 5th. We're headlining the Hard Rock Casino up there. So excited about that too.
All right. How many tours have you guys gone on, like, or gigs?
We haven't necessarily been on a full tour recently yet, because I'll tell you, when we really started gaining traction was back in February this year, and COVID hit and everything shut down. Right. But this year, even the past 2 months, it's been mostly acoustic shows. But I've opened for Randall King, a Texas artist, Parker McCollum, who's making a lot of noise, Tracy Lawrence, Easton Corbin here recently, and William Clark Green. And in the past, I've opened for Willie Nelson, Joe Nichols, Rick Trevino, lots of cool artists. I've got to do a lot of great things. I'm very blessed to get to do what I've done this early on.
Yeah, those are some big names you've opened up for, especially Willie Nelson. I mean, Willie Nelson's probably one of my favorite country singers of all time. What was it like opening up for Willie?
Scary. I mean, I think I had just turned 21 when we played that show, and it was in front of 6,000 people in an arena. So everybody's sitting down, like focusing on you. It's not a dance hall or a bar where everybody's drinking and everything. And I mean, I cannot believe 21-year-old me pulled that off in any sense, because I was green, man. I was young in this business, and I got that opportunity, and it was like, don't screw it up. But it was fun. We only played a 30-minute set, so we got to play all original music, and they loved it. They ate it up.
That's awesome, man. Because yeah, Willie's a big name. When go to a Willie concert, you got some big country fans there. So
absolutely,
probably I could only imagine the pressure that puts on you to open up for such a big name in country.
It was a lot, and people ask me that quite a bit. They're like, do you get nervous before shows? And I'm like, no, not necessarily. And when I think about it, I have every reason to be nervous before any show. But I think it's my athletic background. I played football at Katy High School as well. And I don't know how much you know about Katy High School football, but they're usually one of the best teams in the state. And when I graduated, we had arguably one of the best high school football teams of all time. We went 16-0, and I think gave up like 60 points in 16 games. Oh, wow. It was incredible. I was just the holder and the backup quarterback, but we played our state championship game. There was like 46,000 people there at NRG Stadium where the Houston Texans play. So, and playing baseball all throughout my life, I was used to being on a stage in a sense and being in front of people. So
Right.
I think transitioning over to music, that helped me a lot when it came to nerves and all that stuff. I love playing on stage, whether there's 5 people or 5,000 people out there.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on how the sports background will help. 'Cause I played sports all my life. It definitely helps you like up on a stage or anything. I mean, for me, I've always been like a shy guy, so I've always been more reserved, but I think playing sports definitely helped me come out a little bit, and like with my podcasting, it's definitely helped me even though I'm just behind a computer and microphone here, but yeah, it definitely with the background in sports like takes the edge off a little of performing live and in front of like a lot of
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely. And I'm just like you. I've always been an introvert myself. I
Mhm.
go out in public and go to bars, and I can't. I don't know how to flirt. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I'm very awkward. So even on stage, like I hate talking in between songs, which I got to get better at because like you gotta fill those gaps, you know. But
Right.
I'm still struggling with that. Like I just want to play a guitar solo and sing a song. I'm very bad at talking. So like that's even some like throughout COVID, like doing these Zoom interviews and like Zoom concerts and whatnot, going live on Instagram. Those make me more nervous than playing on stage.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird, but you know, it is what it is.
Right. So you like you mentioned earlier, you got an album coming out. Now, is this your first album? Like
Our
strictly
first,
album, or do you have other albums?
we put out an EP. I
Hmm.
get it was 7 songs, which I would call it an EP. That
Hmm.
came out around the same time we opened for Willie, so I think it was like December of 2018 that one came out. And I'll be very honest with you, when we start gaining some traction, I'm probably going to take that thing down. There's a couple good songs on there that just
Hmm.
my writing style and my vocal ability and my all of it. Like it was just I was very young, very green, and I was just like, I'm gonna go cut a record and put it out, you know, just for shits
Right.
and gigs. And you know, it did okay. One of the songs on there went to like number 35 at Texas Radio. How Many Beers? There's an instrumental on there that's pretty cool. There's a couple ballads that are pretty cool, but some of them I'm like, I should not have done that. But yeah. So this one here, this is our first full length album. It's 10 songs. I wrote 3 of them myself. 6 of them I wrote with some other people, and one of them is actually a Brad Paisley cover. We did his song "I'll Take You Back," which is off of one of his
Hmm.
first albums. It was a deep cut. It's got some fun, like fast guitar in it, and it's funny. I didn't even think about this when I chose the song, but it mentions Texas in it, which is great, as I'm a
Right.
Texas artist right now. And Donald Trump is mentioned in it too. It's like when Donald Trump takes a part-time job parking cars, right then that's when I'll take you back. So fun little lighthearted humor that's gonna come out, you know, right around the same time all this election stuff fizzles, hopefully.
Right.
Um, so yeah, we put that on there. I hit up Brad before we decided to cut it and asked him what he thought. He's like, "That's a great idea." So went ahead and did it.
All right. Perfect. Do you have any plans of moving like to Nashville after college and to pursue more country? You plan on staying in Texas and doing it?
Not not in the not in the near future. I love Nashville. I'm actually going up there 1st of December. I got actually some record labels to meet with. Very exciting.
Oh, nice.
So, but no, I don't necessarily think I should move up there anytime soon. You know, maybe down the road if this career starts to really bud and I need to be up there. But you know, like George Strait's always lived down here. Cody Johnson,
Right.
who's got a record label and he's doing all kinds of Nashville stuff. He still lives in Texas, and I love it. I love Texas, man. I'm rooted down here so deep it's not even funny. So if I could, ideally, if I could be a Nashville artist and still live down here, that's the
Mhm.
dream. But
Yeah.
I do love Nashville. I've been up there a few times. I think it's beautiful, and I would not be opposed to living there. I would not.
Right. Yeah. I did. I'm like I said, I'm from Tennessee, so I naturally love Tennessee and everything. But I agree with you on Texas, man. I actually fell in love with it when I went and visited last November.
It's beautiful.
Just it is, man. Just the countryside of it, the food. Just
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to convince my wife to move back. So I
Nice.
fell in love with this. So I don't blame you one bit for wanting to stay there and still do the country music from Texas, which I mean, like you said, is very plausible. With George Strait did it his whole career. So
And Clay Walker too. He lives in
yeah.
Nashville now, but I know he had a ranch down here in Texas for the longest time.
Okay. Cool.
Or
So your newest single out, "Waiting on Love," is actually number 24 on the Texas regional radio charts, right?
That's right, man. That's right.
What's that feeling like, man, having a number 24 song in the charts?
Again, very surreal. If you'd have told me a few years ago that I would have a top 25 song at Texas radio, I'd said you're crazy. But it's really a blessing. It's very weird hearing yourself on radio. Like we have a couple stations here in Bryan, College Station area, that are playing it, and I'll hear it on the way to class or on the way to the gym, and it's so crazy. But it's it's what we want. It's what we need, and I'm hoping we can get that song up a little higher, maybe in the top 20 or top 15. We'll see. It's got a few weeks left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think it'll climb some more. It's a good song. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
So
it's a fun little take on being single.
right.
Look at that.
Yeah, I'm a married man now, so
I'm tied down as well, but I
you?
wrote that when I was single, right before I met the girl I'm seeing right now. But it's fun. My buddy Jake Doucette and I wrote that, and we were just cracking up in the process of writing it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good song and funny. I enjoyed it very well. So what's the album called?
The album is titled Against the Grain, and so I took that from, there's a song that we put out on 9/11 this past year. That's actually my birthday. It has no relation to the incident of 9/11. That was the date released, but it's called Axe to Grind, and it's a very up tempo rock and country song, just kind of like a working man tune. Just get up, get going. The first line is 6 a.m. I clock in, got my nose on the stone again. So it's a good at the gym song, or Monday morning song to get your ass up and in gear. And I think the second verse, the first line is, against the grain, through the wind and rain, ain't got the time to feel my pain. And I've always been a fan of albums that there's no title track. Like, most albums have a title track, like Brad Paisley's American Saturday Night album. There's a song called American Saturday Night, or This Is Country Music, or Brooks and Dunn's Red Dirt Road album, something like that, which is great. But there was a Brooks and Dunn album called Tightrope when I was a kid, and I loved Brooks and Dunn. I had all their CDs. And sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I had all their CDs. And there was that Tightrope album. There was no title track of Tightrope, and I was like, as a kid, I'm like, well, where's the Tightrope song, And there was a song off that album called "You'll Always Be Loved by Me," which was I think the biggest radio single off of it. And in the second verse, it said, "Trust is a tightrope we all have to walk." And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's really, I like that. And so since I started writing country songs, I was like, I want to do that. I want to pull a line from a song and make it the title. So we chose Against the Grain for this album. And it means, going against the status quo, doing stuff different. And that's what I do. That's what we do over here, man.
Awesome, man. I'm definitely going to check out the album when it comes out. And you said it comes out this Thursday?
This Friday, or this Thursday
Friday.
at 11 p.m. midnight
Okay.
Eastern. So.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'll definitely be checking that out. Like I said, man, I love the tone in your voice, just the overall like 90s authentic country tone to your music. So you definitely got a fan in me now. So
awesome. And
I'll definitely be looking for that.
Great, dude. I appreciate all that. And I'll tell you this, this album's great. I'm very proud of it. I'm very excited to see what it does, but we're getting ready to get back in the studio and cut some more. We have about 5 new songs finished, and another level. I'm very excited to get these cut.
Awesome.
And actually, I can go ahead. I don't think I've said this yet. We're going in 4 days after the album drops to the studio, and we're going to cut a Christmas song.
Oh, nice.
Put it out around Thanksgiving or so. We're doing the chestnuts roasting on an open fire. I actually took 2 years of jazz guitar.
Okay.
My first 2 years of college, and that was one of my pieces. Was the little so we're gonna do a jazz arrangement of it and put it out.
Nice, man. I'll definitely be looking forward to that. I like when some of my favorite Christmas songs are done by country artists, like Willie Nelson's Christmas album.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a great one.
Phenomenal. So yeah, I'll definitely be looking for that too. So before we wrap up here, I'll have a few just random questions for you. But
Shoot.
so being from Texas, I gotta ask you, do you prefer your barbecue or your Mexican food?
Probably barbecue.
Okay,
Barbecue.
I'd agree with
Yep.
you.
Close. I love Mexican, but got to take barbecue.
Yeah, my wife's Mexican, so she misses the authentic Mexican food down in Texas. And when we went down there, we got some ourselves, and I will say it was phenomenal. But I did try some barbecue, and just I'm just a barbecue guy, so I like the barbecue as well.
I hear you.
So another question: who is a dream artist for you to open up for?
Oh man, I'd say Brad. Opening up for Brad would be amazing, and I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon, but I don't think it's out of the question if we keep doing what we're doing, keeping our nose down, and keep working. But that'd be the dream.
Yeah, I definitely think you have a good chance at opening up for Brad.
Hopefully so. We're working towards that stuff, man.
Right. And so one more question for you.
All right.
I want to see if you'd want to pick on your guitar there a little bit. One of your favorite songs of all time, any song. If you just want to pick something for us real quick.
Yeah. Oh man, let me see. All right, I think I'll do the there's an instrumental that pretty much every country guitar player should know. And it's by Brent Mason, who's one of the best session players in Nashville, like Chattahoochee. That was him. He played that.
Right.
And he's got one. My guitar is tuned down a whole step, so it's going to sound different than usual. So any guitar players on here that are listening, don't come at me. But this one's called Hot Wired, and I haven't played it in a long time, so don't come at me for that either. But here's how it goes.
Wow.
A little rough. I got to practice this week.
No, that was definitely good, man. I'll tell you what, I could never pick a guitar like that. So I give you props there, man. And
Well, thank you.
Keep at it, man. I think you could be up there with Brad Paisley one day.
Hope so, man. Well, that's I'm gonna give it all I got. Let the good Lord take care of the rest.
Right. All right, Hayden. So where can the followers find you at?
Yeah, you can check us out at Hayden Baker Official on Instagram and TikTok. Hayden _Baker on Twitter, and Hayden Baker Music on Facebook. Follow us on Spotify or Apple, wherever you listen to your tunes. And all tour dates and information is at HaydenBakerMusic.com.
Awesome, Hayden. Thanks for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Like I said, you definitely got a new fan in me for what it's worth. So I'm looking forward to your album.
That's worth a hell of a lot, man. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
All right.
All right, and have a good night.
You too.